everybody up. So guys, if you've got Lightroom open and you have got Photoshop open, so Photoshop will open anyway for you.
I haven't got any yet, but we'll do it now.
Okay, let you get stuff opening. Right then, so Lightroom. Oh, there we go. So everybody can see the screen okay? We've got Lightroom open? Okay. So what we're going to do then, guys, is I already sent you a bit of a teaser. We're going to turn that one into that one. Yep. And we're going to turn that one into that one. Not sure we'll get through all of these. And we've got that, which is kind of nice, bit of a textured card. Or we can have their sort of Santa looking through decorations and a similar sort of thing there using the bokeh that you did last week. You can use those to kind of give you some stuff. So the whole idea of this was, you know, that there's lots of different techniques in here, most of which you've already started to use. So the trick is to put them together to create these kind of things. And also use the robin in there as well. Not quite right in that one. I don't think the light's spot on for that one, but I'd only got the one robin picture on snow. So before I go, let's make sure that we're going to cover what Helen wanted to know. So Helen, what was it you need to know? And I'll tell you if it's covered in this lot, and if not, I'll make sure I include something.
Well, because I'm leaving my school, I'm trying to do like a letter collage for the school name, and I did an S. And I did it in portrait. No, yes, I did it in portrait and I need it in landscape. But because it's quite close to the edges, I can't crop it. And I want to know if there's a way that I can kind of shrink the letter and then put it onto a background.
Yes, there is. Okay, well, good. Well, funnily enough, I actually did that very same technique on this picture here. So I had to change the background slightly on this one, which is why it's not quite perfect, but I did all these really quite quickly, but the background's not quite perfect there. I blurred it. So but just to kind of give you an idea, I mean, on these things, the more time you spend on them. So let's go for, I'll tell you what, and as I sent this one over first, let's do this one first. So now this whole picture, this bit, the white snow and everything, this is all manufactured. This is not even here. This is our picture, and we're going to make our own background. So what I need you to do is just get this one first of all. Now, it's always a good idea just to kind of have a look at your pictures first in Lightroom and just kind of see if you want to do any editing on them. It's easier to do them in Lightroom. So if you just open this one up and then just do any minor adjustments you need, because it's fur, I usually find a little bit of clarity kind of is quite nice, just brings out a touch. And I think you probably don't need to do a great deal to it. Okay, so once you've got the picky, we're going to drop this into Photoshop. And remember the way to drop it into Photoshop, the shortcut, the quick way. Anybody remember the shortcut?
Command E.
Command E, Control E, there we go. So edit copy with Lightroom adjustment. And in actual fact, Helen, we're going to do more or less your thing straight away. So what I want to kind of do, well, you're clearing off. We're going to, so what we're going to do there is we're just going to kind of make this bigger. There's just a couple of ways to do it. But what we're just going to do is we're going to go to we're going to change the image size. So let's go to image size, because I don't think we've done this before. So there's other ways to do it, but I'll go for this one. If we go to image size here, go to image and go to canvas size. Okay. And you'll get this box come up. Now, image size is the actual physical dimensions of the image in pixels. And canvas size is the size of the canvas. So you've got image size, and then if you make the canvas size bigger than the image size, then what that basically means is you've got space around the outside. So we're going to create some space. Now, so for the width and height here, what I know I need is I need more height. But while I'm doing this, I might as well give myself a bit of extra width and a bit of extra height. So I'm going to take my width up to 1600. So go and put 1600 in the first box. And I'm going to take the height up to about 2500. Now, I'm not worried about going too big. I would sooner go too big rather than sort of not big enough. Yeah. And so now we're just going to click OK. Now, because our mark is in the center, what it's actually going to do is it's going to put equal border around the whole thing. If I was to move this down to the bottom, then it would put border at the top and so on. But I'll just put border all the way around. So I'm going to click in the center and just click on OK. So what's going to happen? There you go. You've got yourself a bit of a black border on there now. So whenever you got to that point.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm just catching up now.
That's okay.
I am sorry, I had to stop to talk to Richard. I missed the bit where you were. I haven't got this photograph. I've got the ones you sent, and that reindeer doesn't appear in that group.
Did you download the ones? I sent a link to a zip file.
Yeah, I got all the zip file ones. I've got 1, 2, 3 for about. Yeah,
it should be in. It's in there, isn't it, guys? I'm pretty sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mine.
Sorry to be a pain. Could you just tell me how you got that canvas bit up again?
Yeah.
Please?
So it's image, canvas size.
Thank you. I'm with it now.
Oh, I got him. It was blank. Now he's just come up. I got him.
Okay. So once you've got him now, then Karen. So you come over to here. It comes to image.
Sorry, Glenn. I'm still in my room. I've got
okay. So just get him open then. It's all right. No worries. No worries.
I just do edit.
Glenn, could I ask? My border's white, and I think I've
doesn't matter.
Oh,
right. So what it was is when you come up with this and it says image. So you go to image, canvas size, just here. One of the options is this box down here. It says canvas extension color, and you could make that white or grey or black or whatever. We basically the reason I'm not worried about it is because I'm going to delete it anyway, so I wasn't worried what color that was.
It's weird. I've chosen black, but it's stayed white.
Oh, okay. Don't know why that was.
Oh well. I'm more concerned about
I've got as far as getting it in Photoshop. You just got to tell me now what the bit was with the.
Right. So now go to image. At the top, file, edit image, and choose canvas size. And then we use measurements. I changed the measurements to 1600 at the top, 1600, and 2500 for height.
1600 and 2500. Oh, I don't like that. 1600.
That's it. I'm with you now.
Okay.
The number between 5 and 125,000 is required. I've got to put a comma in, probably. No.
So with the
I put 250 for width.
Image, canvas size. So width, I put 1600.
Yeah, I put
for
that.
height, 2500.
When I put that in, it tells me a number between 0005 and 125.
Have you got it? Are those two drop down set to pixels? Can you see my screen? Are the two drop down set to pixels?
Inches. Okay, pixels. Thank you. All right, now.
Okay. So that's usually the default. I don't know why that got changed.
And 2000. Okay, I know. So I put that in, and then you left it black, or you changed it to black.
Yeah, black's fine. Black, it doesn't really make any difference because we delete it anyway. We're going to change it anyway.
That's why you changed it. It's on white at the moment. I'll leave it like that.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is that now I've done that, I'm just going to create a new layer just so that I'm going to duplicate the layer, because I've said this before. Always a good idea to duplicate your layer, because then if you make a total pig's ear of it, you've got something you can go back to. So does anybody remember the shortcut for duplicating a layer?
Control J.
Control J, Command J. Fantastic. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we need to select this border. So we're going to use, to do that, we're going to use something that's really good for selecting all one color, and that's the Magic Wand tool. And so with the Magic Wand tool, you're just going to click on your black or white border. It doesn't matter which one it is. Make sure you've got a tolerance that sort of encompasses all of it, but if it's all one color, it should do it pretty easy. Now, you've got your selection. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use content aware fill to fill this sort of outer area. Now, you can't use content aware fill unless it's got something to take pixels from. So what we just need to do is expand that selection slightly. So go to select, modify, expand, and expand it by around about 11 pixels. It doesn't have to be massive. And you'll see that the selection jumps slightly into the picture.
Modify, expand. Yeah.
I've got all the dark shadowed grass up to his feet on mine.
Okay, in that case, use it. So deselect, so Command Control D, and use a lower tolerance. It sounds like your tolerance is really high, but use a tolerance of about 11 or something like that.
Sorry, how did you get to that bit? I haven't got that little tool that you said about at the
Right.
top.
So, okay. So let me do deselect. So you're looking for the magic wand tool. So the shortcut for the magic wand is W.
Oh, Command W.
No, just W, letter W.
Oh, okay.
And it's this one here. It says, remember guys, on your toolbox, if you've got like a little arrow in the triangle in the corner, it's there's other tools there. And the one you want is one called Magic Wand.
It doesn't actually, like the icon for it on mine, it doesn't look like that at all. It looks like a square box.
That you've got the wrong one. That's what I say. So you need to click and hold on the icon, and it will come up then with the sub menu.
I haven't got the icon.
Yes, no, it is. It's there. That's what I'm saying. So click. So you basically you see this. You need to click and hold that, and choose Magic Wand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Got it?
And then what
Right.
do we do?
Just put your tolerances around about 11.
Oh,
So do you remember the very first
mine's on
lesson we did, and we talked about the tools
yeah.
and how the tolerance worked? So this is all one color, so you can have the tolerance quite low. So it's tolerance at 11, you see, you get that selection there. Now, what we need to do is we just need to expand that selection out. So to do that, we go to select, modify, and expand. And just expand it by 11 or 12 pixels, say 11 pixels, something like that. That'll be fine. Okay.
11.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Glenn, I haven't got the marching ants all the way around the outside of mine. They're around the picture, and then they're on two sides of the board of the outer border, but not on the top and the left-hand side.
Yeah, don't worry. They'll be. I'm sure they'll be there. It's that. Did you get? Did you not? It sounds to me like you didn't fill. You didn't change both numbers in the boxes by the sound of it. Let's just do this next bit, and we'll soon find out.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got that. So now we're going to fill this with content aware. So we're going to go edit, fill, and from the drop down, we're going to choose content aware. So edit, fill, and from the drop down, choose content aware.
You just say okay.
And then just say okay. And what Photoshop will do is it will have a guess and try and replace those pixels with the pixels it thinks it should be.
Done that.
Now, the reason I'm doing it, there you go. So you see, it might not be perfect, but I'm not worried because I'm going to delete that background anyway. But the reason I've done it this way, Helen, is because it's going to add, it's basically going to make your picture bigger. So you've got that extra space around it that you're asking for.
Clever.
I need to shift it into landscape, yeah.
Yeah. So what you could do is, if you want to put it into landscape, is so if I want to change this to landscape, I could go to image. In fact, I'll just show you this extra little thing. So if I go image canvas size, and I want to take the width, then I'm going to take the width. If you want it landscape, I'm going to go 3000. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go 3000, and I'm going to anchor it to the side. So all the extra space is coming on the left here now, right? Now, so I can do that very same thing again, and I can let Photoshop have a go. So I've made a selection. Yeah. I'm going to expand the selection. So select, modify, expand. Might go a few more pixels on this one, try 22. Okay, and then I'm going to go content aware again. And I mean, this is a big thing to ask. You're asking it to replace a lot of pixels here, but let's see what it does.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Is that the sort of thing you would do if you were going to do a framed canvas print?
Yes, it is exactly that. So if you're doing a canvas print and you know that you're a bit close to the borders, you could do exactly this. Now you see, it's not worked perfectly, but you know, for what I'm going to do today, it'll kind of do. Now, what you could do, is another slight. If I just go Control Z, there is another method that you can do, and that is where we use the marquee tool, and I can draw down here. And what you can do is you can kind of do a mixture of these two methods, really. So if I go Control T, I can now, I need to hold the Shift key down. If I don't hold the Shift key down, that's going to get bigger in all directions. You see that? Yeah, so I don't want that. So let me just escape. Right. So if you do Control T, do you remember Control T was the shortcut for transform?
Yep.
And then I'm going to hold the Shift key down and I can stretch this. And you can see I'm adding extra bits. And let's say it starts there, it starts to get a bit, you know, odd. I can sort of take it part way.
Double it.
And what I can do as well is I could use my move tool, come over this side, and I could do the same thing on this side. So I could come over here. Again, I want to get fairly close to as I can. Control T, hold the Shift key down. You see, there you go. That's how you see I've expanded the canvas.
Yeah.
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 I mean, then what I'd probably do if I needed this picture, what I'd do then is I'd come in here with the patch tool or something, and I'd start cleaning up, you know, these things here. But that's for another. That's for another day. I don't want to get off topic. And even look, even here, you see, do this in segments, perhaps.
Joining us this evening.
Yeah. So you just go over this several times, you know, until you got a decent thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I'm not really interested in any of that stuff. I just wanted to expand that thing. But yeah, so you could do that. You could just do that. Just go and pick up from different areas, and gradually build it up. Okay, just using the patch tool. So it's all tools we've used before, and that's how you would expand it. So you could expand it either by making a selection and transforming that selection and stretching it out, or you can transform it by letting Photoshop have a go at content aware fill. As I said, what I would probably do is, if I can, because that was a really big ask, so I can do a bit of a stretch, and then I can do sort of content aware fill for the last bit, you know, to kind of fill those bits in at the end.
Pretty clever, really.
Yeah. Rightio. So the next thing we've got to do then, now I'll tell you what, I don't want all that. So let me duplicate this layer. Control J. Oh, I'll leave it. Control J. Let me duplicate this layer. Right. So I don't need that. So let me crop off what I don't want.
Can you tell us too? I've got a layer 1 and a background, and I've still got the marching ants too.
Right, Control D to get rid of your marching ants then.
And then which layer do I get rid of?
Well, you want 2 layers. So you've got your background layer, which there we go. So I'll delete this one. There we go.
With a board.
Control Z. There we are. Actually, I want that one, don't I? There we go. Right, yeah. So background layer. So you only need your original layer. So as long as you've got an original layer and a layer with the, you know, the kind of thing done. Yeah. Okay. Right. Next thing we've got to do is we've got to get him out of the picture. So the way to do that is we need to make a selection. And there's a new tool in recent editions of Photoshop. If you go to one of your selection tools, and it has to be the magic wand or the quick selection tool. So go back to your magic wand, which you've probably already got. And at the top here, you should see something that says select subject. And this is one of the new artificial intelligence things in Photoshop. So making sure that you're on the top layer. And I tell you what, let's call the top layer reindeer, just so we know. If I say reindeer, we know which layer we're on. Okay.
Rename it. I've not done this for a few weeks.
Okay, so just double click on the text to rename it.
Oh, not right click. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if you click on select subject, with a bit of luck, Photoshop will magically pick out the subject, which it did, and it did a pretty good job actually.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, it did. It's done a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just have a quick look at it and make sure that it hasn't missed anything that it shouldn't get. So it's not chopped its legs off or its horns off or anything like that. I have to say, in my case, it seems to have done really quite a good job. And I think I've probably such a good job. I'm probably happy with that. So what we're going to do now is we've got an active selection, and we're now going to put that active selection on a new layer. Okay. So all we need to do with that again is our Control or Command J. And if you press Control or Command J and switch off your other layers, you should have a picture of him sat on a background. Or it's not sat on a background, sort of just there in yeah.
On the grey stuff, yeah.
That's it. See through. Okay. Now
got a bit of grass between his legs, mind you.
You got a little bit of grass between his legs. Okay. Okay. Now, if there's anywhere where, so like you said, so if there's anywhere like that where you've got a bit of something between his legs or something, go and try with your magic wand tool again. Now, what we can do, we could always nip into. I was hoping to avoid this, but we can nip into select and mask. So, with that layer selected, yeah, with that layer selected, there is a little bit green on him as well. We could always tidy this up later. What we're going to do is we are going to let's have a click on select and mask. And for some reason, I can't see anything. Why can't I see anything? That's weird. Oh, it's because we haven't. Sorry, it's because we haven't got a selection active still. Select and mask. Okay, so you should have him now, hopefully, in this new workspace. Have you got him in this new workspace?
Yeah, he's all sort of like got a blurry cover on him, like a film over him. He's not as clear as yours.
Right, now, if you remember, we did this, I think it was last week or the week before. If you come up to the top here, you've got the view, and you've got like onion skin, marching ants, overlay, and I actually gave you some shortcuts, and it was oh my VAT. And so if you're there and you go, if you just press the shortcuts, so you got oh my, that's it, VAT. And so what that will do is show it to you on oh my VAT. So that shows it to you on different layers, different coloured layers. Yeah. I mean, you can do it the long way around if you want to, and go and click on things if you want to.
Well, what should it be on then, to be clear, like
right.
yours?
The trick is you want to have it on the one that is going to be most like your background. Now, our background is going to be white. So if you put it on white, which is T, we can see now. He's disappeared.
He's disappeared now. Yeah, he was there on the onion skin, but now put on to white, he's disappeared.
Mine's there, but he's got a film like an onion skin.
Just make sure that your opacity is at 100. You got opacity slider here. Make sure it's at 100.
Mine's gone now.
Yours is gone as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine's black as well.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, it sounds. I wonder if you didn't have a selection active or something. Let me just check that. So, okay, just press cancel for a second then. Have you got, I mean, you should have had one because you just did it. Have you got marching ants around the reindeer?
Not at the moment.
Right. Okay. Okay. You need to get marching ants around the reindeer. So I'll tell you what to do. Go to your mask. So go to, this one that's at the top with the clear one. Yeah. And hold down the Control or Command key key and click on the layer mask. And so if I just do Control D, I'll do that again for you. Hold down Control or Command key and click on the mask, and it will re-establish your selection for you.
Marching ants, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the marching ants right now, yeah. It was when I clicked the select and mask, it went funny. It like Karen was saying, all the pixels went over the top of it.
Right. First of all, make sure you were on the correct layer. Don't forget we're selecting. So when you did your selection, you had to be on the correct layer.
Yeah.
Which you should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I now click, there's select and mask.
Yeah. Right, seems to be okay this time.
Okay, it's good. Okay, select mask. So if I just zoom in a little bit. Sorry, Karen.
We do select subject first, then select and mask.
Well, you should already had. And cancel out again. You should already have. You should already have this on a new layer.
I've got marching ants and I've got the top layer like you have now. I thought
with the clear pixels. With the clear pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So on there, and you've already got the marching ants. If you hadn't got the marching ants, you press Control or Command and click on the mask, and that's what gives you the marching ants. Now you've got marching ants. Click on Select and Mask.
Yeah, he's all right now.
Good. From the drop down at the top, because we're going to put him on a white snow, we're going to choose white as the background and make sure that your opacity slider is all the way to 100.
Okay.
Now, zoom in a little bit to his legs, because that's where the problem is. Yeah. If you need to move him around, you can hold the space bar and that will allow you to move him around like this. Okay.
How did you zoom in?
Control plus or Command plus.
Space bar to move him. All right. I've got his legs and his green bit.
Good. Now, to make the brush bigger and smaller, use the left or right square bracket key. So I want to make it smaller because I've got to get there into that green bit between your legs. Yeah. And that so far. So you've got a nice small brush to get into that space. Now, make sure that you have got selected, and it's normally selected by default, but make sure that you have the refine edge brush selected, which is the second one down.
Yeah.
Then come into where the green grass is between his legs and just draw down there. Just click and draw. In fact, you can just click actually. If you just click, you'll see that it has a go at getting rid of those bits for you. Okay, so anywhere you see little bits of green, sort of around between his legs and stuff, you just want to go through there. Now, there's also, you notice, some green here on his, if you've got the same as me, there's a bit of green fringing just here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to refine that edge as well. So when you're painting, you've got to make sure that you don't kind of go too far into the subject. This is where it gets a bit tricky. In fact, I'll tell you what we might do actually. We won't do it that way. I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. Instead of doing it with a brush, let's do it this way. If we come over to these sliders, we've got one here that says shift edge and we've got a feather. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the feather to the right slightly, probably about a pixel or so. And then we're going to go to shift edge and we're just going to move shift edge. And what this does is it will move that edge in. If you move to the left, it's going to kind of take the edge in slightly and you'll see that you get rid of those kind of green bits. Yeah?
It goes white, yeah.
That's it. And then finally what I would do also is click on decontaminate colors and that usually solves it. And there we go. Now we've got a nice edge without that green on it.
Sorry, where was the decontaminate?
I haven't got that.
Yes, it's under output settings.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Decontaminate, and it's on 100%. All right, yes.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
once you've done that, if everybody's at that point, the next thing it says output to, and this wants to be new layer with layer mask. Hopefully that's the default, but new layer with layer mask.
Lost that person.
You say okay.
Sorry, what was that? Output, wasn't it? Okay.
Are we good so far? So now you should have something that looks like this now. Let me just go fill that in.
I think I'll just go buy a Christmas card.
And then is it a minus you do?
Yeah, to make it smaller, control minus, make it bigger, control plus.
I've still got the green background.
Right, that just means that, I think, Jim, that just means you've got one of these background layers switched on, like that. So switch off your background layers.
Yeah. I think it might have been the way I selected it. Okay.
Okay, right. Now, above what you'll see now is we've got our original layer, but it's created a new layer. So that it's actually switched off the original layer. We don't need that one. And we've got the other layers below. So what I want you to have is you've got your layer with your layer mask, and then below that, all your other layers are switched off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new layer. So we're going to go, and the brand new layer wants to be below your layer with layer mask. So you've got your layer with layer mask, come down one layer, and then click on the new layer icon, and you will get a new blank layer. And I'm going to call that blank layer Snow.
Hang on, I did a new layer.
New layer, I see it. Create new layer. Okay.
So you've got a new layer now below your deer layer kind of thing.
Mine's gone above it. Can we move
Right,
it?
if it's gone above it, just drag it down below. Just click on it and drag it down below.
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody there so far?
No, I need to find the new layer first.
It's got a little plus on it next to the bin.
Down the bottom right hand corner.
Thank you.
You've not done this for a while. It's like starting over again, isn't it? Remembering where everything is.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
you.
Right. So what we're going to do now is making sure you're on your new layer called Snow. We're going to fill that layer with snow. So snow's white. So we're just going to go Edit, Fill, and where it says Color, we're going to choose white, and then OK. And you've got a white background.
Colour. Right.
Now, this probably doesn't look much like snow. The reason it doesn't look much like snow is because so far there's no texture on it, and we need some texture. So we're going to make our own texture. And to do that, we're going to go, is everybody at this point, everybody got a white background?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. We're going to go Filter, Noise, Add Noise. Filter, Noise, Add Noise.
Yeah, got that. Yeah.
And what you'll get is you'll get this thing that comes up. And as you move the slider to the right, you'll see you get this kind of speckly stuff. Now, if you go too far, it's going to look a bit odd. So probably around about 40, between 40 and 50 should do the job. I can always tweak it afterwards if need be. And then OK. Good so far?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you're all there.
I'm just wondering, one's uniform, one's Gaussian or something?
Gaussian, yeah, choose Gaussian, yep.
Ah, okay. Uniform. Yes, it's even more so.
Okay, so around about 40 to 50. Are we all there?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go Filter, again, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And you want to choose a rating that kind of just do it by eye, and you're looking for something. You don't want to go too high because it will just take out all the texture completely, but you want to kind of be at a point where it looks like it's kind of snow with a bit of texture. So I reckon around about, well, I'll tell you what do you think, guys?
About, it's a bit pinky, isn't it? It's about round about 7. It's a bit pinky.
Yeah, there. So you know what kind of snow looks like. It wants to be kind of, you imagine it's snow with a light on it. Like, it wants to be kind of like that. So I reckon around about 6 or 7, I think. Okay. And now click OK. Good. So there we go. So now we've got our reindeer on snow. Now what I want to do now is we're going to put some sky in. So we're going to create a new layer above that layer, and I'm going to call that sky. Are we good? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the lasso tool. The shortcut for the lasso tool is L. And I want to go and choose the polygonal lasso. Polygonal lasso.
Where the polygonal one is, let's go in the corner.
So you go into the tool there and you'll see the normal lasso and the polygonal lasso.
I've only got, it just comes up lasso tool on its own.
No, you need to go inside the box and there's 3 other ones.
No. Now it has polygonal lasso. Okay.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, I don't want sort of a straight thing. I want to kind of make it look like he's on a bit of a hill. So I'm going to draw sort of a bit of a diagonal, and then I'm just going to encompass that top area there. And I'm just going to, so it's not a really hard edge. I'm also just going to feather it slightly. Now, the quickest way to do that is right click inside the selection and choose feather. And I reckon around about, well, it might be a bit much actually, but let's try about 5.
Hang on. Where did you get that? Sorry.
Right click
at
inside the
top.
selection.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
I'm funny with my tool. How do I cancel this lasso tool? Because I've made a mistake with it. I'm all over
Just
the
press
place.
escape. Just press escape.
All right, now we'll start again. There's the lines. Once I draw the line, oh, I don't know what happens there.
So what you do, you've got to encompass it. So just let me just I'll deselect for you. Right. So all you do is you just go click, 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 click outside the box.
Do that. Okay. Yes, I wasn't doing that. No, I was dragging the thing everywhere. And then you have to join it up, right?
And then you have to join it up. Yep. And then we're just going to feather it slightly. So just right click inside the selection and just choose feather. And I think around about 5. I can always tweak it afterwards if need be. But about 5. You just don't want it to kind of be a really hard edge, you see. Yeah. Okay, good. Now go over to your color swatches and click on the top one and go and find. So what you need to do is you need to go to this tall skinny column first, click on blue. Yeah, and then go and find a nice sort of sky blue. So go and find a nice sort of sky blue color. Don't worry, you don't have to be super duper accurate, but it's got to look like, because what we're going to do in a minute, I'm going to use sky replacement. So it's got to look like sky in the first place, so I can use sky replacement. Yeah. So you've got a nice blue here. And I'm going to give you a new tool that I don't think we've used before. And it is under the gradient, and it's the paint bucket tool. and the shortcut for it is the letter G. If you press the letter G, it should come up with the bucket tool. And unsurprisingly, the bucket looks like a bucket. And if you don't see it, then you need to just click on it, and because it's one of those where there's multiple things inside the bucket. Already got the bucket? Once you've got the bucket, just come into your picture and click once, and it will fill your sky area selection with that blue. Okay, we're doing well. So now what I want you to do, we can press deselect, so Control D to deselect. And what we're going to do is we're going to change that sky. Now we've already done this. The reason I did it this way is so that we can use the sky replacement tool. So if we go to edit, edit sky replacement. Choose the sky that you like, and obviously it'll come up with the one that's already in there, which you might like anyway. There we go. And it looks like we're just going to have to change a couple of things to get it. There we go. If you move your lighting adjustments, you see that I've got a bit of a line through there. If you just get your lighting adjustment, move it to the left, that gets rid of that line. Use that sky, you can use a different sky, it's up to you.
Sorry, Glenn, I missed all that bit.
Right, okay, I will cancel out again. Okay, so Jim, making sure that you're on your sky layer.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
We come over to edit.
Yep.
Sky replacement. Photoshop will already have a sky enabled. There you go, it puts the sky in, and you can see because we've got the white background, it's actually left a bit of a line.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way to get around that is just go down to the sky adjustments, light adjustments, and move it to the left, and that will get rid of that line for you.
Don't have lighting adjustments. The last one is.
If you can't see it, you just there's these drop down arrows. Yeah.
Okay. Lighting adjustment to move it.
And that works, Glenn, because you've painted the background blue and you're fooling it into thinking it's sky.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have, I could have gone and replaced the sky, and I could have dragged the sky in and all that stuff. But as Photoshop's got this tool, let's let Photoshop do the work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm trying to do as well is I'm trying to use things that I've used previously to reinforce what we've already covered. Yeah. Right. So once you're happy with that, output to new layers, click OK. And you should now have, we're getting there, aren't we? We're not doing too bad.
When did you get output to new layers?
I will show you all your layer adjustments and things, which if you want to, you can just close those down if you're happy with it.
Sorry, how did you get output to new layers?
Output to new layers, yeah.
How do you get that? Sorry.
Oh, right. That's
Sorry.
it was down at the bottom. It's there's like a. In fact, I think it's the default actually. If you just click OK, Jackie, you should do it automatically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I'm just going to do a bit of tidying up because I'm happy with my mask on the reindeer. I'm going to come up to the top layer, the reindeer layer. Yeah. I'm going to come to the onto the mask itself. So click on the mask itself and click on apply layer mask. And what that will do is it's basically now going to put the layer mask into the picture, and it's just sort of means that when we're moving things around, I don't have to worry about you accidentally moving the reindeer and not the mask. So what I've done is I've applied the mask to the picture. And what you can do now we've done that, if you get your move tool, remember the move tool is the letter V, you can actually pick your reindeer up, and if he's not in exactly the right place, we can move him around to where you would like to put him. So that could be useful, because if you want to put some text in there, you know, you need a certain amount of space to put your text in, and so you can kind of move him around.
Just go over that last bit, how you got rid of that, which mask you're on. The top
So
one
you click on the mask, the black and white thing, yeah,
yes.
and you right click and say apply layer mask.
Right. Yeah, and then you can move. I've still got the paint pot showing there.
Yeah, so press V for move tool.
Thank you. And then I can move him. Oh yeah. That's cool.
Right. Now, we don't have to do the next bit if we don't want to, but if you actually look at the light on this, you can see that the light was quite strong. And so if I want to, I can put a drop shadow in here. So I can show you how to do a drop shadow. Now, way to do a drop shadow, obviously the drop shadow wants to be the same sort of shape as him. So if we look at the light is coming from kind of here, the top right hand corner. Okay, so the shadow is obviously going to be on the left hand side. Agreed?
Yeah.
So I'll show you how to make a shadow. So what we do is we first of all we need to create another layer. So click on the new layer icon, but I want that layer, I'm going to call it shadow. Yep. But I want the shadow at the moment is on the top, and of course the shadow would be underneath the subject. So drag shadow underneath your reindeer. When you've all done that. Okay, now.
Mine's disappeared.
It disappeared into the replacement group, I think. Yeah, mine's gone in the time replacement group.
Yeah, if it didn't go where you expected, it's because you were in the wrong layer. So that's what I say. You've got to make sure that you're on the deer layer. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as you just drag it so it's underneath the deer. So just drag it up and down so it's underneath the deer. Right, now the shadow is of course the same shape as the thing that it is. All right, so what we need to do is we need to make a selection of the reindeer so I can get the reindeer shape. And the easy way to do that is, we've already done it once, press Control or go to your reindeer layer. So I'll call it deer. There you go to your deer layer, hold down the Control or Command key and click, and you will get a selection. We've just reselected the deer.
Sorry, Control.
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Control.
So Control or Command D. So if you're on a PC, it's Control.
Yeah.
If you're on a Mac, it's Command. And you should see your marching ants come back again.
No, done something wrong.
So go to the deer layer. You've got to be on the deer layer.
I made him go blue on his side now.
Control Z if you have to undo. Let me get. I'll Control D and do it again for you. So you've got. If you look at this, we've got the deer layer at the very, very top. Yep.
Yeah.
Below that, we've got an empty layer, which is called shadow. We're going up to the deer layer on the top, holding down the Control or the Command key, click once. And you should now get marching ants.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid not.
I don't know where you've gone amiss then. Are you right? Have you got your layers the same as I've got, Jackie?
Yes.
You've got your deer layer at the top.
A layer, yes.
And you've got a layer below it, which is empty, called shadow.
Yes.
Is your deer layer active? And
That's yes.
and you're clicked on it.
Yes.
And press. You're a Mac or you're a PC, aren't you?
PC, yeah.
Right. So press Control.
Yeah.
And click. So press and hold Control and click on the layer mask. Oh, sorry. Click on the deer layer.
Got it. Sorry. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, this is the important bit. Come down to your shadow layer. Got it?
Yeah.
And we're going to go edit, fill, and we're going to choose grey, because it's not, if you look at the shadows, it's not a super black shadow. It's a kind of like it's going to be a soft shadow. So choose grey and choose OK. Now you won't see anything at the moment because it's actually hidden behind
him,
your
yeah.
deer.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to transform it. So making sure that you're on that layer you've just created,
Yeah.
let's press Control D to deselect everything, Control or Command D. Making sure you're on the shadow layer, press Control T, which is transform. Come inside the picture, right click and choose distort. Good, got it? Now, you still won't see anything happen, but watch what happens now. I can click on these corners and I can drag these around until
Clever, isn't it? Clever.
I get a kind of deer shape. Now, this is where you've got to use your artistic license. He is on a bit of a hill. I can kind of make it look like, you know, that's quite a steep hill. In fact, I might do that actually, make it look like quite a steep hill. So it looks like he's on quite a steep hill. Okay, so get your shadow like that. Don't worry, we haven't finished yet. Once you're happy with your shape of your shadow, click OK or click the tick.
Where's that? Oh,
At the top.
Okay.
Good. Now, the shadow doesn't look realistic. There's a couple of things we need to change. The first thing we need to change is we're going to change what's called, and Jim, you asked me about this, we're going to change blending modes. So go to on your shadow layer and come up to the top. At the moment it says normal. Yeah. And what you need to do is best thing to do is just work through these. I know which one it's going to be, but if you work through these, you will see the shadow change. So you got darken. Now they're grouped into areas. So the first, like the second group down where it says darken at the top, all of these things will make the shadow darker to some extent. Okay. As you come down to the next one, it will make it lighter. So you'd end up with a white shadow, which of course is a bit weird.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be one of the darken modes. So we're going to go darken and find out which one looks quite nice. And if you actually look at color burn, that's not too bad. You see color burn kind of keeps the texture of the snow underneath it.
Yeah.
So we're going to choose that one.
I've still got marching ants around my shadow.
Control, yeah, that's right. Control D. Oh, well, once you press enter, that'll go, or Control D.
Okay.
Or Command D.
Yeah.
Don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're almost there, but shadows, it could be that hard. But what we want to do is we just want to soften it a bit. So we're just going to go to filter. You've used this already. Gaussian blur, filter blur, Gaussian blur, and just go and put a little bit of softness in that shadow, just to kind of make it blend slightly. We're still not finished. There's something else we're going to do after this, make it look even more natural.
Where are we getting that from?
Filter, blur, Gaussian blur.
I've got filter.
Filter, blur, Gaussian blur.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Now, final thing. We're just going to come up to the top here where it says opacity, and just move your opacity slider a little bit. And if you just bring it down, you can see we can soften the shadow, and just do that to taste. Good.
Yeah, good.
Excellent. Now, oh, we're almost there now. So all we need to do now is we need to put some text on it. So to put some text on it, we need to go right back to the very top. So go onto your top layer. And you don't have to create a new layer for text. So come over to the text tool, which is the letter T.
Top there. So we're going back to the beginning.
Yeah, so making sure you're on your top layer, because we want to put the text on the top there. Okay. And get your text tool. What you'll get is you'll get this cursor come up. And as soon as you click, it will put in placeholder text. And the placeholder text color will be based on the color that your foreground color swatch is.
It says horizontal type tool, vertical type mask tool.
You want the top one, the horizontal type tool. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then we click down here. Yeah.
Now we can change the color of the text in a minute, but what I recommend you do is go over to the text properties at the top here, just like you would in Microsoft Word, and you want to go and choose something that looks sort of Christmassy. So generally speaking, I would say go for, as you hover over the different names, you'll see if you look at the preview, it kind of shows you what it looks like. So I would go and choose something, you know, that kind of fits in with your Christmas theme. Algerian looks quite nice if you've got that. Quite often it's things that called old face or script or something like that. You know what Christmas cards look like, you know. So if it says script or gothic or, you know, say if you've got Algerian, that's not a bad one. And then just basically go and type your message. So Merry Christmas. This is one that is actually all thingy. If you want to sort of do it over multiple lines, you can go Merry Christmas, and then you just hit return. You say and a Happy New Year.
I've typed it in white.
Right, now if it's typed it in white, so mine's in blue. Okay, so that means your top color was obviously white. So mine's in blue. So if you select the text, so if you just get on the text and sort of, now if you, what you can actually do, if you're good with this, if you've got a mouse, if you triple click 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, it will do it. Or you can just press Control A, Command A to select all the text.
Yeah,
now, what I suggest you do then is you come right up to the top here, again, just like in Word, and there's your swatch color. Yeah, next to the tick and the right. Click on the swatch color, and what you can actually do is you can actually come into the picture. You see it's got this red halter on. What I can do is I can use that as my color, and I can kind of then I'm getting a bit of consistency throughout the picture.
You've been thinking about that, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
I might make it slightly darker actually. To make, if you want to make it slightly darker, all you do is you come to the sort of color picker and just pull straight down, and that will make it dark.
Excuse me.
It might be sneezing as well. It must be catching.
I've been sneezing all day.
And of course, just like in Word and everything else, you can choose to align these to the left or the right or in the middle, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and go back and do 5.
And you can resize it if you want to. Okay, let me know when everybody's got their text there.
Yep.
And we're going to click on the tick. And then there's one final thing I'm going to do just because it's kind of cool, or a couple of final things actually. So we've got that there now. Now, if with the text on the text layer, then if you click this icon here, you see where your color swatch is, come to the right of the color swatch and you've got like a T with a bendy line on it. Click on that. And this is what's called warp text. and you can click on there and you've got this choice here. You can do an arch. So if I go to arch, you see it bends upwards. If I move my slider to this side, there you go. I can have a bit of a kind of a 3D kind of look to it.
Seem to have a black line under mine, sort of a.
It's probably once you tick OK, that should go away.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good. Everybody got curly or bendy text? There's all sorts of other ones in there. You can make it snake shape or all sorts of things. Yep. Right. We're getting there. Last thing we're going to do then is making sure you're still on your text layer, which you should be. Come down to the very bottom here where your bin is and your new layer icon is, and you've got one that says FX.
Yeah.
Click on FX and choose drop shadow. And this will come up, and this is going to now, in fact, it already does it, applies a drop shadow. And what I suggest you do is in each of these boxes, you want to type the same number. So you see it says distance, spread and size. Let's try 9. So I'm going to go 9, whoops, in each of those boxes. There you go. That's not too bad. And then the other thing that while you're there, because of a drop shadow, now you want to make sure, you see we did the shadow for the deer going that away. You need to make sure that your shadow direction obviously is in the same place, because otherwise it'll look a bit odd if it's going off in a different direction. And then you can just kind of tweak these. And you know, just tweak these to suit yourself. Don't put too much size on it, otherwise it goes weird. I think actually I'm going to keep it quite short. Actually, I think I've gone for 5 in everything. If it's too much, you can actually just move the opacity slider again. You see, if you take it all the way to the left, no effect. Bring it all the way to the right, maximum effect. So you can use that. The opacity slider in Photoshop is really, really good, because if you do something and you think that it's too obvious, the opacity slider just brings it back and just blends everything in quite nicely. And there you go, guys. That is how you create a Christmas card.
Lovely. Thank you.
Step by step was good.
And not only that, you know, we've made our own snow, we've put our own sky in. So we've literally started from almost from a blank document.
That was easier than I thought it would be, actually.
Good. Now, what we can do now is we can kind of, I mean, if you wanted to, we can group all these together, or we could flatten this. So remember, what you've got the choices now is if you think you want to come back to this and maybe edit it and do something else and change the text or something, we want to save it as a PSD. If you know you've finished with it, we can flatten it. But, you know, I think we'll save this as a PSD because you might want to come back and change the text or do something. So let's go to File, Save As, and save as, make sure it's in the right folder, which it should be because it's the one it came out of. And then make sure, though, because it will default to TIFF. So make sure from this selection here, the Save As type, you choose PSD. And I'll go reindeer.
Yes. And it's in the wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
reindeer Christmas card. There we go, PSD. And then once you've done that, we can now flatten it and we can now save it as a JPEG or whatever. So once you've done your save as PSD, we can now go layers, flatten image, and then that's going to bring all of those layers down. Discard hidden layers, yeah. And there you go. Now there's your single layer, which was obviously what you would print out.
Oh, sorry, where were the layers you just went to say?
You just go to layer, flatten image in the menu.
Oh, top left. They're they're greyed out. Are you in the top border or not?
Yeah, just here, layer, flatten image.
Yeah, it says layers. And, oh, now it does. It was greyed out before. Flatten image. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to go File, Save As. This time, go and save it as a JPEG. Save it as a reasonable quality. And so, I mean, what you could do here is obviously if you're printing yourself, you could print these out. But if you wanted to say, you know, say you went to Vistaprint and they said, you know, you want to design your own card or something, you could send this up, put this on there as the card, and you could have, you know, go and order yourself 100 personalised Christmas cards.
Okay.
So once you've done all that stuff, you can now close it, say the changes, yeah. Or no. Now, what you will have to do is you will have to go back to your library, and there's a good chance you might need to just synchronize the folder just to bring those new ones in.
Where did you do that, Claire?
So you go to your folder and choose synchronize.
Oh, okay.
Right click and choose synchronize.
Mine came in automatically.
Okay, that's fine then, that's good then. Brilliant. So all of these ones here, that's, you know, this is exactly the same stuff. But the only difference is on this one, I did the cutout. I did the cutout of the post and everything. So there's the post, look, see? Yeah, so all I did was I did the cutout of the post and I just put it on this picture. And because you just see the background is blurry, because if you had kind of zoomed into the bird like that, the background would be out of focus. So all that is that Gaussian blur on the background to give you that out of focus effect. So we've done that on the previous one. Right, so I'll just go through and obviously it's the same with this one as well. It's just the cut out again, and then you just put it on. Exactly the same technique. Yeah, so let's do this one here because this is a slightly different technique. Okay. You probably might have already figured out, you know, what we're going to do, but so we're going to take this picture and this picture and we're going to blend them together. Now, what I would do is make sure that you do your edits first in Lightroom. So I've deliberately left this one. There's actually a little bit of flare in here from somewhere back here. So I'm just going to go to the develop module, click on auto, it's gone a bit bright. So just kind of get that how you like it. Think of the shadows down a bit of dehaze maybe, bit of clarity. You just want to get it kind of looking good. There you go. I'll keep the warm color balance because that kind of suits it. Let's try colder though. Nah, keep that where it was. So once you're happy with him, you need to open both of those as layers in Photoshop. So To do that, you click on the Santa and click on this one here. Yeah. So you want those two. So they're selected. Remember to select, if you want to select two pictures that aren't next to each other, it's Control or Command click on both pictures. Then you're going to right click and choose down to edit, but don't just go edit in Photoshop. You don't want to do that. You want to come down to open as layers in Photoshop. Okay, now you can see one of the things we've got here is we've actually got different size sort of pictures and such, like switch them on and off, we've got different size pictures. Okay, so that's not a problem. So what we're going to do is, has everybody got both pictures open?
Yes.
Yeah. So all we're going to do is we're going to kind of resize this one slightly, or resize this one to suit. So in fact, I tell you what, let's resize Santa, because it's always better if you can. It's not such a problem with the bokeh, but you generally, if you're going to, you're better to make things smaller than try and make things bigger, because if you try and make things bigger, you're losing resolution. You start to pixelate. So let's go to Santa, and you already know this one. We're going to transform Santa. Shortcut is Control T. Yep. And then just drag Santa to a size where he fits into Mr. Bokeh. And put him where you think he's going to kind of fit nicely. Got him?
Still a bit bigger. They're trying to make, oh, hang on. He's still bigger than the other photo.
So Control T and then just drag him to resize him. Just drag the corners in.
It just moves in, that does. It doesn't seem to make him smaller.
You actually drag from the corner. So you see you got these bounding boxes, Karen. You need to come to this bound. If you're inside, you'll move him. You need to get one of the, you see where the arrow changes to a double arrow?
Yeah, I've got it. So it wants to be the same top and bottom as the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
No.
Okay. Now, obviously, now what we're just going to do, let's just get rid of all this white space. So to get rid of the white space, we're going to crop it. So go to the crop tool. And the shortcut for the crop tool is the letter T. Sorry, letter C, beg your pardon. Letter C. And just make sure that you click in at the top here where it says ratio and everything. Click on clear, and that will empty all these boxes out. Once you've done that, just move the crop markers until you've kind of got rid of the bits and pieces you don't want. Okay, and then click on the tick.
Sorry, I've not found the crop tool.
It's third one down. Got it? Looks like that.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. And then what did you do?
Just crop it. So just crop it down to get rid of the pixels that you don't want.
Oh yeah.
Clear pixels. Yeah. Now, the next bit probably will just convince you that we'll go around putting our copyrights on things. I'm going to show you how easy it is to get rid of those. So making sure you're on the bokeh layer. Go and get your square marquee selection tool, rectangle marquee selection tool. Click on that. Draw yourself a box around the logo. Go edit, fill, content aware. Okay. There you go. So for all those guys putting your logos on, thinking that nobody's going to nick your pictures, that's basically how quick and easy it is to get rid of them.
Could not fill because there's not enough source pixels on the selected layer.
You're on the wrong layer.
All right, thank you. So we go on.
You've got to be on the boat. You've got to be on the layer that's got the logo on it.
Well, trying to be too quick. Content aware. Okay. Yeah. And then when it's done it, you've still got those little lamps going around. You just do a escape.
Yeah, Control D.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so at the moment we've got Santa on top of the bokeh, and I actually want it the other way around. So just get Santa, go to your Santa layer and just drag down so that Santa is now below the bokeh. So you've got bokeh on the top, Santa below.
Yeah.
Now we've already done this. We did this last week or the time before. Go back up to your top layer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to create a layer mask. Remember what the layer mask did? It made things see-through. So come down to the washing machine here at the bottom.
Yeah.
And click on Add Layer Mask. And you'll get a white layer mask and nothing will have appeared to have happened. Now, if you remember the example I gave you, imagine that is kind of a piece of whitewash glass and somebody's painted it with white paint and we can't see through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a scraper and we're going to scrape off the white paint, revealing whatever's underneath. Well, our scraper is the black paintbrush. So we go to the black paintbrush. So you go to the brush. The shortcut for the brush is the letter B.
Sorry, how did you get that one? The white sheet, please. Sorry.
Oh, you just click on the, making sure you're on the bokeh layer.
Yeah.
Come down and click on the wash. Make you click on the washing machine.
Thank you. Right, yeah, with you.
Right. Now, go and get your paintbrush. Shortcut for the paintbrush is B.
Yeah.
And then come down, so you got your brush and make sure that your foreground colour is black because we have to paint on with the opposite colour that is in that thing. All right. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to go straight in there with 100% because I want to feather it in. I want to fade it in. So your brush properties, put your brush properties, well, let's try 50%. That should do work nicely. And look over here and make sure that your brush is a soft brush. You'll know if your brush is a soft one because if you click on this little down arrow, you'll see you've got soft brushes and hard brushes. Yeah. So make sure you've got a nice soft brush. So you are at opacity 50% and you've got a soft brush. My brush is around about 400. Might make it a bit smaller. I'm going to go 300. And remember to make your brushes bigger and smaller is the left and right square bracket keys. Okay, now all you do now is kind of guess where your Santa is, and you just click on making sure that you're on the layer mask, which you should be. Start painting in black, and where you paint, your Santa will miraculously appear through the bokeh. And you can make your brush a bit smaller if you need to, if you just want to kind of get his beard. And because we're painting at 50%, the more you paint, the more he will show through. And you'll see here on your layer mask, you have a black blob where he is. Now, if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You press X, which puts white as your foreground color. And now you can come in again and you can paint back the areas and just bounce between those two. And you can include whatever it is you like.
How did you make your brush bigger, Glenn? Sorry, I missed that.
The left and right square bracket keys. So bigger is the right square bracket key.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So all those people that did bokeh last week are all thinking, I wish you'd have told us this before. We could have done it all in Photoshop. It's not the same fun, though.
Not the same fun, no.
And if you want to say, where his beard is, if you want to just bring back a little bit of bokeh through the beard, you just flip the color over again. Oops, Control Z. You can always drop your opacity down if you just want to be a bit more gentle with it. And you can just go in there and paint that back again. Good. And then all the other stuff about putting sort of text on it and things is exactly the same as previously. So when you are happy, just flatten them down. So layer, flatten image. I won't bother keeping this one in layers. And of course, what you can do here is you can do your flatten, and then there's nothing to stop you from doing your flatten and then going in and adding your text after that.
Yeah, that's good.
There you go. Ian? Ian? You're muted.
Sorry, yes.
But that's okay. Was that good for you today? Did you learn some new stuff?
Yeah.
It's a good refresher, actually. The one thing that I learned more on was the reindeer, the new tool for the selection.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
also adding your own, I mean, you probably didn't know that about, you know, making your own snow and stuff.
The Gaussian blur, I've done a little bit of that before, but it was good to see the way you did it. I really enjoyed that. That was new news. I've not thought about making snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have gone and found another photograph and pulled it through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would have done if I'd have got one, but I hadn't actually got a picture with just snow. I suppose I could have dug out my Iceland ones, actually. There would have been something in there. But yeah, it's just easy to make your own snow, or you can put your own sky and make your own sky. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
No, that was good. Thank you. I'm going to practice it now.
Yeah, well, obviously there'll be the video, so I think there was quite a lot to get through there. So, but I appreciate that you got the video, so you can always kind of watch them again. It was good fun, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Lots and lots of new tools in there for you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. So next week, if you remember, we're doing Lightroom, and we are looking at all the color correction tools and that sort of thing. And then where are we date wise? So there'll be the 10th, then there'll be the 17th. So we need to think of something for the 17th. Probably won't do one. I might make a little video for you on something, or give you a project to do for the 24th. But I think, what shall we do on the 17th? We're about to do a feedback session, I think, or something, aren't we?
I haven't been out really taking many pictures at this time.
Any suggestions then for the following week, 17th? Got any ideas, Jim?
The Astral?
I think the trouble is most of the group aren't into that.
Right.
So I think Jackie did, and Joe didn't, and Helen didn't, Karen. So yeah, we will do an Astro thing. Have a think. If you come up with any ideas, or you got any projects, I'll have a little think myself.
We do something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is me talking for me. We start doing some sort of more sort of creative work. I mean, obviously we're going into winter, and we might not be able to get out as much.
Okay. So something like a bit like we did with the bokeh or something like that. Something you
Yeah,
can do
but
indoors.
your one with the toast.
Oh crikey, yeah.
Your pop-up toast. Something along that sort of.
Right. Okay. I'll think of
creative photography.
I'll think of a little creative project for you.
Well, the other thing I was just thinking about, we'd probably be able to take pictures of garden birds or something. I don't sort of like you know, mini wildlife sort of
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay. I'll tell you what then. As you have got I don't want to have you spend I don't want to make you spend more money.
It doesn't normally stop me, Glenn.
I know. One of the things I've done, I did actually, the last lot of bird pictures I posted, they were all done on remote control. And I actually sat perfectly comfortable in the conservatory with a cup of coffee, with the camera set up outside and the bird feeder. And I just sat there with the remote control and just fired the camera off from indoors. So by pre-focusing and everything and doing that sort of stuff, I was able to kind of get these really good shots without having to use a 600mm lens. I think I actually took them on a 200 or 300.
All right.
Yeah.
I can run you through the technique for something like that. Well, if you'd want to invest in the remotes, you can do it. But I mean, I can still give you some bird photography tips anyway. In fact, I will do actually. In fact, as we haven't been able to do the bird course this year, yeah, I'll do that. So So next week is Lightroom. 17th, I'll do some bird photography tips, sort of with and without remote controls, and how to get birds in flight and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then,
So I think probably some people would have done the bird course. Maybe you, Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Helen, who's the bird course?
I did.
Yeah. So be a refresher for you then, Helen.
I did
Yeah,
it many
good.
years. When I was about the second course I did. But you're all the opposite. It's been too hot for me to go outside and do stuff in the summer. You're all out.
Yeah. Don't tell us that.
Cool enough for me to go outside and do photography without getting wet through, and you're all inside.
Just yes, thank you for. It's just not fair. Too hot to go out, eh? That's terrible. Right then, folks. Good. If there's no questions, then I look forward to seeing your Christmas cards. That's the obvious thing you've got to do. I want to be seeing your Christmas cards posted up. That's probably give the game away for folks. Yes, so yeah, go and please post your ideas. I mean, you're very welcome to use my Robin or my Pickies if you want to, but obviously it'd be kind of nice if you've got some pictures of your own that you can be creative with. Remember, the whole idea of these is really to give you some ideas, and then it's how you execute those, just like you did with the bokeh ones. Really, that's what I just give you the techniques, and then you've just got to let your imagination run wild and come up with the goods. All right.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Right, Joe.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
All right. See you, folks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.